Life is full of uncertainties, twists, and turns that we never see coming. No matter how much we plan, prepare, or predict, there will always be moments that slip beyond our control. Yet instead of accepting this truth, we often allow ourselves to be consumed with worry. We rehearse possible failures in our minds. We stress about what might happen tomorrow, and we carry unnecessary burdens that steal our peace today. Worry, however, does not solve problems. It only magnifies them. It drains our energy, clouds our judgment, and robs us of the joy that could have been ours in this very moment. Think for a moment. Has worry ever changed an outcome? Has anxiety ever rewritten the story in your favor? The answer is no. Worry is like sitting in a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but it takes you nowhere. Life was never meant to be lived in constant fear of what if. You are not meant to carry the weight of the uncontrollable. You are meant to breathe, to trust, to let go of what you cannot change, and to focus your strength on what you can. When storms come, the temptation is to panic, to overthink, to try to grasp control over every detail. But the truth is, peace is not found in controlling every outcome. It is found in trusting that even in the chaos, you will be sustained. The battles you cannot fight, the doors you cannot open, the situations you cannot fix, those are the very places where trust must replace worry. Worry whispers that the future is uncertain. Trust reminds you that you are never walking through it alone. Letting go is not weakness, it is courage. It is the courage to admit that you are human, limited, and unable to hold the universe in your hands. But in that surrender lies freedom. Freedom from sleepless nights, freedom from constant doubt, freedom from the endless cycle of fear about tomorrow. And in that freedom you find strength you didn't know you had. So today, stop rehearsing your fears. Stop replaying the worst case scenarios. Stop letting your mind be hijacked by things that are out of your reach. Instead, choose trust. Trust that what is meant for you will find you. Trust that doors will open in their season. Trust that even what looks like a setback now may one day be revealed as the very thing that shaped your greatest victory. You were not created to live weighed down by anxiety. You were created to rise, to move forward, to live fully in the present. So release what you cannot control and step into peace. Stop worrying. Trust that there is a greater plan unfolding, even if you cannot see it yet. The burden was never yours to carry. And the moment you let go, you'll find the strength to walk lighter, freer, and stronger than ever before. Worry changes nothing but drains everything. It is a silent thief that robs us of joy, peace, and strength while giving us nothing valuable in return. Many people spend countless hours replaying possible outcomes in their minds, obsessing over details they cannot control, and imagining worst-case scenarios that often never happen. In the end, all that worry accomplishes is exhaustion, frustration, and a sense of being stuck. It does not change the outcome. It does not rewrite the future, and it certainly does not give us power. What it does is weaken us before the battle has even begun. Think of how much mental energy is wasted when we allow ourselves to be consumed by worry. We lose focus on what truly matters. We miss opportunities to enjoy the present because our minds are busy creating problems that may never exist. Instead of celebrating small victories or moments of peace, we spend our time preparing for disasters that may never come. And when we finally face the situation we feared, we realize that the countless hours we spent worrying did nothing to change it. In fact, our worry probably made us less prepared, less clear-headed, and less strong when the time to act arrived. Worry is like quicksand. It pulls us in deeper the more we struggle against it. It creates illusions of control, as though if we think long enough about a problem, somehow we will fix it. But thinking and worrying are not the same. Thought leads to strategy, solutions, and preparation. Worry, on the other hand, is a repetitive cycle that traps us in fear without offering any way out. It is a misuse of imagination, taking the gift of creativity and turning it into a weapon against ourselves. Instead of imagining growth, healing, or new possibilities, worry forces us to picture only failure and pain. What's more, worry is not only mental, it affects the body. Sleepless nights, headaches, loss of appetite, or even overeating often come as a result of anxious thinking. Stress hormones are released, weakening our immune system and leaving us vulnerable to illness. Over time, what started as mental worry becomes a physical burden, weighing us down in ways we never intended. All this while the problem itself often remains unchanged. In reality, the problem may even be smaller than we imagined, but worry makes it seem larger than life, a giant too heavy to face. To recognize that worry changes nothing is to free ourselves from its grip. We must see it for what it truly is: wasted effort, wasted strength, wasted time. It is better to invest that energy into what we can influence, into taking small steps, into finding courage to move forward. When we stop giving our power to worry, we reclaim clarity, strength, and peace. Worry takes everything and gives nothing, but choosing trust over worry restores balance, allows us to breathe, and reminds us that we were never meant to live as prisoners of our own fears. Control what you can, release what you can't. This simple principle can transform the way life is experienced. Much of the stress people carry comes from trying to control things that were never in their hands to begin with. The weather, the economy, other people's choices, sudden challenges. These are realities no amount of effort can fully shape. Yet so often the mind clings to them, replaying endless questions and creating strategies for outcomes that lie far beyond reach. The truth is, peace begins where control ends. The moment we learn to separate what is truly ours to handle from what belongs outside our influence, the weight begins to lift. Imagine someone rowing a small boat in the ocean. They can control how they row, the direction they face, the effort they put in, but they cannot control the waves or the wind. If they spend their energy fighting the waves, they will exhaust themselves and get nowhere. But if they focus on what they can do, rowing steadily, adjusting their sail, keeping balance, they will move forward, even in uncertain conditions. Life is much the same. Our energy is best spent on actions within our grasp, not on resisting forces we were never meant to command. There is power in acceptance, not resignation, but wisdom. Acceptance does not mean giving up. It means recognizing reality and choosing to act where action matters. If you can study harder, work with more focus, improve your skills, or practice patience, do it. That is within your hands. But if you cannot control how others think, how time unfolds, or how every detail aligns, then release it. Holding on only multiplies frustration. Releasing frees the heart from unnecessary strain. This shift in perspective creates incredible strength. Instead of drowning in helplessness, a person finds courage in responsibility. It's not about ignoring problems. It's about dividing them into two categories: what I can change and what I cannot. When you put your effort into the first and release the second, you stop scattering your energy in all directions. You will be more effective, more peaceful, and more grounded. You stop fighting battles that are not yours to fight. Control what you can, release what you can't. This simple principle can transform the way life is experienced. Much of the stress people carry comes from trying to control things that were never in their hands to begin with. The weather, the economy, other people's choices, sudden challenges. These are realities no amount of effort can fully shape. Yet so often the mind clings to them, replaying endless questions and creating strategies for outcomes that lie far beyond reach. The truth is, peace begins where control ends. The moment we learn to separate what is truly ours to handle from what belongs outside our influence, the weight begins to lift. Imagine someone rowing a small boat in the ocean. They can control how they row, the direction they face, the effort they put in, but they cannot control the waves or the wind. If they spend their energy fighting the waves, they will exhaust themselves and get nowhere. But if they focus on what they can do, rowing steadily, adjusting their sail, keeping balance, they will move forward even in uncertain conditions. Life is much the same. Our energy is best spent on actions within our grasp, not on resisting forces we were never meant to command. There is power in acceptance, not resignation, but wisdom. Acceptance does not mean giving up. It means recognizing reality and choosing to act where action matters. If you can study harder, work with more focus, improve your skills, or practice patience, do it. That is within your hands. But if you cannot control how others think, how time unfolds, or how every detail aligns, then release it. Holding on only multiplies frustration. Releasing frees the heart from unnecessary strain. This shift in perspective creates incredible strength. Instead of drowning in helplessness, a person finds courage in responsibility. It's not about ignoring problems. It's about dividing them into two categories, what I can change and what I cannot. When you put your effort into the first and release the second, you stop scattering your energy in all directions. You become more effective, more peaceful, and more grounded. You stop fighting battles that are not yours to fight. The beauty of this approach is that it creates balance. When you no longer waste effort on the uncontrollable, you gain clarity to focus on the present. You begin to see progress in small ways. Your actions become intentional and your heart becomes lighter. No longer are you drained by trying to carry the world on your shoulders. Instead, you carry what is meant for you and let go of the rest. In that release is peace, freedom, and renewed strength. Trust brings peace. Fear brings chaos. Every day, people face situations that could either be approached with calm confidence or with restless anxiety. The difference lies not in the circumstances, but in the perspective. Trust allows the heart to rest even when the future is uncertain, while fear fills the mind with noise, magnifies problems, and clouds judgment. Peace is not found in having everything figured out. It is found in choosing trust over fear, even when the outcome remains unseen. Fear thrives in the unknown. It whispers that everything could go wrong, that you are not enough, that failure is around the corner. It creates storms in the mind long before they ever appear in reality. This is why fear brings chaos. It multiplies confusion, drives impulsive choices, and robs you of focus. A fearful heart is restless, always bracing for disaster, never able to fully enjoy the present moment. The irony is that fear convinces us it is keeping us safe, but in truth, it only chains us in worry and doubt. Trust, on the other hand, is a quiet strength. It does not deny challenges, but it refuses to be ruled by them. To trust is to believe that Then if things do not go according to plan, there is still a way forward. Trust steadies the heart, giving courage to face each day without being consumed by the weight of tomorrow. It silences the noise of what if and replaces it with the assurance that no storm lasts forever. When you choose trust, you reclaim your inner peace. Peace is not the absence of problems. It is the presence of calm in the middle of them. It gives you the ability to think clearly, to respond wisely, and to move forward with confidence. Where fear scatters your thoughts, trust gathers them. Where fear weakens you before the battle, trust strengthens you to endure. Think about how differently life feels when approached with trust. Instead of spending sleepless nights imagining disasters, you rest, knowing that worry will not change the outcome. Instead of making hasty decisions out of panic, you take steady steps with clarity. Instead of allowing fear to blind you to opportunities, you remain open to growth, even in difficulty. This shift does not come from the outside. It begins within, with the choice to trust. Peace is one of the greatest gifts a person can carry, and it is unlocked through trust. Fear cannot produce it. Fear only multiplies chaos. Trust does not remove the challenges, but it transforms the way you face them. It reminds you that no matter what tomorrow brings, you can stand firm today. Fear may knock at the door, but when trust answers, chaos loses its power. Letting go is an act of strength, not weakness. Many people believe that to release control is to give up, to admit defeat, or to stop caring. In truth, it takes far more courage to surrender what cannot be held than to cling tightly to what is slipping away. Letting go is not about neglecting responsibility. It is about recognizing limits and choosing freedom over unnecessary struggle. It is the bold acknowledgement that you are human, not all powerful, and that real strength is found in knowing when to hold on and when to release. release. There is a common misconception that strong people never let go, that they fight endlessly, never bend, never step back. But the truth is, stubbornness is not strength. Wisdom is. Knowing what battles are worth your energy and which ones are draining you without purpose is a sign of maturity. The one who endlessly grips what cannot be controlled is not stronger, but more exhausted. The one who learns to release what cannot be changed finds room to grow, to heal, and to live with peace. Letting go is also an act of trust. It means believing that life does not fall apart simply because you stop forcing it to fit your plan. It means understanding that some doors close for a reason, some people leave because their part in your story is complete, and some delays happen to prepare you for something greater. Holding on to what was never meant to stay only creates pain. Releasing it, though difficult, creates space for what is truly meant to be. Think about how heavy baggage feels when carried too long. At first, you convince yourself you are strong enough that you can handle the weight. But as time passes, the load slows you down, steals your energy, and limits how far you can go. Life is no different. Carrying grudges, disappointments, failures, and fears weighs heavily on the heart. To let go is to drop that baggage, not because it never mattered, but because carrying it forever will keep you from moving forward. What's powerful about letting go is that it brings freedom. Freedom from the constant cycle of what if. Freedom from reliving the past or fearing the future. Freedom from depending on things outside your control to bring you happiness. That freedom does not make you weaker. It makes you stronger because your strength is no longer tied to the weight you carry, but to the courage you show in releasing it. In the end, letting go is not loss, it is gain. It is the moment you choose growth over stagnation, peace over turmoil, smile and wisdom over struggle. It takes courage to unclench your fists, to release the illusion of control, and to trust that life has a way of bringing beauty even from what you thought was broken. That courage is strength in its truest form. Every season has a purpose. Life is not meant to be a straight path of constant progress and smooth success. Just like nature, life moves in cycles. Spring with its growth, summer with its abundance, autumn with its shedding, and winter with its stillness. Each season carries lessons, shaping and preparing us in ways we may not understand at the time. Yet when viewed with patience, the struggles and delays that once seemed meaningless begin to reveal themselves as necessary steps in a greater process. Often people see setbacks as failures, interruptions, or even punishments. A closed door feels like rejection, a delay feels like wasted time, and hardship feels like an unnecessary burden. But many times, those very moments are refining periods, hidden opportunities to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Just as a seed must be buried in darkness before it can sprout into new life, we too often experience seasons of stillness and challenge before stepping into breakthrough. What feels like a pause may actually be preparation. Think about how trees shed their leaves in autumn. To the eye, it looks like loss, like something beautiful has ended, but in reality, it is a vital process for survival. The tree is conserving energy, protecting itself through the cold season, and making space for new growth in the spring. Without this cycle, the tree would not endure. Life mirrors this rhythm. The times when things are stripped away are not meant to destroy us, but to make room for renewal. It is also true that no season lasts forever. Just as winter eventually gives way to spring, hard times eventually give way to new beginnings. Patience becomes essential here because impatience blinds us to the value of the present. When we constantly wish away the season we are in, we miss the lessons it carries. A difficult season teaches peace. Perseverance. A quiet season teaches reflection. A fruitful season teaches gratitude. Each one has meaning, and together they weave a stronger, deeper story than we could ever write on our own. Understanding this truth brings peace. Instead of resisting every challenge, you begin to accept that it may serve a higher purpose. Instead of despising the waiting, you begin to see it as a necessary preparation for what lies ahead. Even the detours, the delays, and the disappointments begin to look different when viewed through the lens of purpose. They are not simply obstacles, they are stepping stones that prepare you for the weight of the blessings to come. When you embrace the season you are in, whether joyful or painful, you stop wasting energy fighting it. You begin to ask, what can I learn here? How is this shaping me? That shift in perspective transforms struggle into growth, pain into wisdom, and delay into preparation. Every season has a reason, and when you trust that truth, you find hope even in the hardest chapters of life. Worry makes you live in a future that hasn't happened yet, while trust allows you to fully experience today. Many people spend their lives trapped in a cycle of what ifs, imagining every possible problem that might arise tomorrow, next week, or even years from now. In doing so, they miss the only moment they actually have, the present. The mind becomes so occupied with fears of the future that it forgets to notice the beauty, opportunities, and blessings of today. Life then becomes a race to solve problems that do not even exist yet, leaving the heart restless and weary. When you live in imagined fears, your energy is constantly divided. Instead of focusing on what you can do now, you pour your strength into endless scenarios that may never unfold. This prevents you from being fully alive in the moment. Conversations feel half-hearted because your mind is elsewhere. Achievements feel empty because you are already worrying about what comes next. The joy of small, everyday moments slips through your fingers because fear convinces you that tomorrow must be secured before you can relax. But tomorrow will always remain uncertain, no matter how hard you try to control it. Trust changes everything. When you decide to release the grip of worry, you give yourself permission to embrace today as it is. You learn to value the simple things, a smile, a peaceful morning, a meaningful conversation, without waiting for the future to align perfectly. Trust does not ignore tomorrow. It simply recognizes that you cannot live there yet. It reminds you that the best way to prepare for the future is to live wisely and fully in the present. After all, the actions you take today shape tomorrow, but worry adds nothing to that process. Living in the present also strengthens resilience. When you focus on the day at hand, problems feel smaller and more manageable. Instead of being overwhelmed by the thought of facing a mountain of challenges in the future, you face one step at a time. This approach builds confidence because you see yourself overcoming in small ways each day. Trust replaces panic with patience, fear with focus, and worry with peace. The irony of worry is that it steals the very moments you were meant to enjoy. You may finally arrive at the future you once feared, only to realize you missed countless days of happiness worrying about it. Trust protects you from that regret. It teaches you to treasure the present, to live each moment as a gift, and to rest in the knowledge that tomorrow will unfold in its time. When you stop living in imagined fears, life becomes lighter. You stop waiting for the perfect future to feel peace, and instead you discover peace right where you are. Each day carries its own challenges, but also its own joys. Trust empowers you to embrace them fully, without fear of what tomorrow might bring.